help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean, right now to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Hello, I'm Sonia V.
I'm Iguaran.
Welcome to A Common Thread.
The wins, the losses, and the curveballs of life.
Yes. So as you can see, there's a new look, and I love it. This is like more podcast look. So I'm
very, very chill, casual. Just
yeah.
Out in my living room.
Feels like that, right?
Are you hearing her? You didn't hear her either. Keep talking.
Okay, we're going to keep talking. So welcome to Common Thread, and we're so glad that you have joined us this evening. And I wanted to ask Eva how she was doing, but we also have a special guest who has been a guest here before. It's been a minute, Mr. Keith Jenkins Jr.
Hello.
And I'm not going to do it justice, so I would like Keith himself to introduce himself. He's got an amazing story. For those who have not seen it, I think it was in August you were here. I think it was August. So it's a little bit back, some months, 5-6 months ago, but go back, look at it. Amazing story. He's got a ministry because of his story. You know, we always have a story, right? Our ministry, whatever our ministry is, or whatever our job or our career or whatever you want to call it, there's a reason. There's always a why behind what we do. And so look back at that episode in August. You could find us on Facebook, but also on YouTube and NTX Radio, A Common Thread, and go back to that, and you can hear his story there. And amazing. So, Mr. Keith, introduce yourself.
Basically, I'm a musician, writer, speaker, whatever the people need me to be, you know, trying to do my best to help everyone. And no matter what they're going through, you know, on a tree service, so I help there, but then I also do social media stuff for people, you know, just whatever people need. You know, if I got to give advice as best as I can in the few years that I've been alive, I'll do that as well. So yeah, mostly just using my music right now. As of December, that's like my main thing, and just just trying to reach the world, you know, no matter what people are going through, especially through grief, which is, you know, our common thread.
Yeah, I mean, whatever that grief looks like, you know, I've realized that we talk about grief in the aspect of, we talk about grief a lot on this show, but I think it's because it's such a common thing. And we really, here in the US, especially, or I want to say in Western society, we kind of shy away from grief. We don't really like to talk about it. I mean, look, even at your job, when you lose someone you love, you get 3 days. That tells you right there like kind of like it's like something unsaid in the background. Like you have 3 days to kind of
Pull yourself together.
suck it up, buttercup, you
Mhm.
know? But there's other countries you get like a month off,
Yeah.
5-6 weeks, I don't know the name of the countries, but a lot of them are Northern European ones that do that. But grief comes in all shapes and sizes, right? It's not only losing someone to death, although that's a big one, but there's a lot of other losses that we experience in life. And how can we learn from each other through that? How can we help others through that? So today we're going to kind of touch on depression and anxiety. And, we all kind of have some experiences with that, or either personal or people that we know. And how can we help those in our lives that are, how can we help our viewers? We're not experts here. We're just kind of having a talk here, like we're in our living room. And we want to have you join us this evening. So.
And share.
Yes. If you have any comments, please.
If you're going through something currently, please share a comment and share the whole podcast so that somebody can also gain some kind of insight.
Absolutely. So Keith, you've gone. If you wanted to share maybe a little bit of your story, so that way those that maybe haven't had time to watch it, maybe 5 minutes, kind of share a little bit of what you've gone through, why you're doing what you're doing, and your experience with anxiety and depression.
Right. So 2022, right at the end of the year, the day before my birthday, my father died by suicide, and since then I have just used, I guess, my experience of dealing with not just a loss, but a loss in that way, to just bring awareness to the things that we deal with in the dark. As you said, grief being of many different things. And over the past few years, I've actually seen that not just death, but also job, housing, family, just family dynamics, all that. I've just seen it in so many different ways. And I just didn't know that that's what that was. And so with my music, I have shifted kind of my stance in the way how I was writing. Like before, I think I was just writing more songs that are just fun, to kind of get you through whatever kind of trials and tribulations, more motivational. But now that I have this experience and have experienced a whole lot more things with it, I think it's very valuable to get the message out in order to be able to help, whether you're youth, you're my age, or even in your 60s, 80s. Maybe you've never dealt with anything like that, because I know a lot of people that look at me and they go, Keith, I've never experienced anything like you. I say, yeah, but then when they do, they come to me and they say, hey, like, how did you get through that? And I'm like, man, if this was 5 years ago, I wouldn't have had an answer. I might go read the Bible or pray or get some good friends around, but now I actually can answer that question, like, what do I do when this happens, or if this happens, or if I experience this many times over, how do you? So yeah, it's been pretty much my whole life.
Do you feel like it's matured you a whole lot?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was a baby. So my beard, that's always the joke. But 5 years ago, I couldn't grow a beard, but after my dad passed, it came in fully. It was the weirdest thing. He couldn't grow one. And so it was so strange. But yeah, afterwards, it's just like my friends were calling me Moses and stuff. But yeah, no. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely grown me up in the past few years to have to, like, even just looking back at videos and what I was posting back then, I was like, wow, I was so like not superficial, but just surface. Everything's on the surface. But now I know to like look at things a little bit deeper, especially when I'm dealing with folks You know, because everybody's got something. And then now I can tell. It's so crazy. Today we were at Sam's Club, and there was this girl sitting right here next to me and my friend, and she was just kind of looking at her phone. I said, "Dude, something's going on here." And I said, "Hey," I felt weird to like even say anything, but I was like, "Hey, we pray with people and all that," and got to talking, and then come to find out she had a terrible school year and was bullied like you wouldn't believe. And she's talking about how dealing with anxiety and depression at what 18 or 19 years old, and like just not wanting to be here and other stuff like that. I was like, man, like I could just sense it because now I've done gone through some stuff. So yeah, definitely, it's really kind of opened my eyes to a lot.
Well, you say that, and it's amazing to me. Like, I think just noticing people, like taking the time like you did, somebody sees me,
You know,
like really sees me. When you ask somebody, how are you? Be ready to get an answer. If you don't really want to know, then probably just say hi.
Mhm.
But if you want to know how someone really is, they might tell you if they're really having a bad day. And kudos to you for doing that, being able to pick up on that from
Yeah.
her, because you could, you saved her life. I mean, you noticed her,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it takes a special I don't want to say the word intuition, but discernment to see that in others, and to kind of watch for that, read the room, and kind of see when someone is struggling.
or even like sometimes it's really obvious. It reminds me of the story in the Bible, the great Samaritan, right? And they were left for dead. It was very evident that there was something wrong with them, right? Because they were like robbed and just almost killed, right? And how the people walked right by them. So it was very evident that there was something wrong. So sometimes even when we notice, do we take the time to stop?
Well, it's also commitment. Once you notice a friend, then it's like, okay, I have to walk beside them now.
Investing
And
that time, yeah.
that can be very time consuming. So are you ready to make the investment in them and to make that effort? Because it is, they do need someone. Everybody needs that someone.
Right. I tell people, friends and other people that I come across, you need to have at least 3 people that you can go to with your stuff. Because if you have just one, that person may not always be available, right? So you need your like night owl person, the person who'll stay up with you
Stay
until
up all night,
2,
stay up
3
all
in
the
the
time,
morning talking
yeah.
to you on the phone.
Exactly.
And then you have your other friends, the other 2 that, are there for you when that one can't be there for you, right? So I think just making sure you have that small tribe of people. Now, we say we have a lot of friends, but I'm talking about really intimate things like depression, anxiety, going through these things. We don't like to share that stuff with everybody. Although depression and anxiety are just as common as diabetes, high blood pressure, all those things. But for some reason, mental health it still gets frowned upon if you talk about it. And even I know my dad, for instance, he would never I was trying to get him to go to a counselor at some point because he was depressed, or he still is. And he just, no, I don't need one. The thought is I'm not crazy, is what
Yeah.
he's thinking, right? And, but you take care of him like dad, you take medication for diabetes, you take medication for high cholesterol. Hey, you need help with the other stuff too, the mental health stuff. But it's just, I think just educating people about it is important. So
And you were talking about friends. I once received a little jar of lifesavers, the little candy,
uh-huh.
and we all need those lifesavers in our life. Like, this is just a metaphor, right? A sweet candy. But we need to know those friends, and like you said, have a list, because we could be upset over a best friend who's not there for us during a certain time. But we just need to make sure that we have a few people we can call on.
Right.
Because
Don't
that
mind me, people.
bestie may be having a hard time herself or busy. I mean, that's just reality.
Right.
So
Right.
who else can we call? And like you said, I have a friend that I know I can call at 10. I know somebody who I can call if it's 12. Like I have a list of people who, okay, they're just not gonna. They're gonna be like, you can't. I have a friend who can't talk to her after like 6 p.m. because she's gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
She'll go to sleep on you. She's not. So it's really good to have all of those friends, like to have a community. So those are my lifesavers.
Those are your lifesavers.
Yeah. So
Okay.
just in case they didn't hear, you're basically saying to have multiple people.
Multiple
Yeah,
people. And don't leave it up to your friends to take care of you or to read your mind or to
Yeah.
because we can't read each other's mind. We don't
No.
know if, who's really feeling bad. You could have a look, you could have a bad week, but don't leave it to chance that they're going to be able to read that something's wrong because not everybody has that ability.
So I will say too on the notion of having more people to speak with. Something I don't know if we touched on it when I was here last time. But one thing that I had to mourn was the friendship with my best friend of 17 years immediately after my dad passed. And that's not something that I thought would, especially with my dad passing, this individual knowing just how close me and my father were, as well as that individual and my father being close. Um, I didn't expect them to ever leave. I thought that'd be a time where it was, arm around me. Hey, let's go hang out. Let's go snowboarding, whatever. But what it actually turned into was them um, disappearing.
Mm.
And after I think 2 years, we finally had a conversation. It was like, you're just always going through tough times. So I just found the door and left. It was a lot more deeper than that, but basically that was the conversation. And I was just like, wow, I think we did talk that I have lost a lot of people in my life, and I have had a lot of trials in that regard. And this person was just like, it's just too much for me. So they bowed out. And so having multiple people, people who have had tough experiences and can kind of understand, don't just have people around because eventually I think they do get tired. And I give them that grace. Like, man, yeah, I've had some really difficult things happen since I was, 8, 9 years old. Um,
Well, and that may end up later kind of slapping him in the face, not to wish that upon anybody. But I remember talking to one of my friends who was going through a really difficult time and almost like wanting to take her and shake her out of it. Like, come on, this isn't good for anybody. Like, nobody wants to hear you crying every single day and every single second. And then, when that kind of grief hit me and that kind of experience, I was like, whoa,
yeah.
I need to go back and apologize because obviously I did not understand the person who was crying every single day
Yeah.
and who was going through something like that. I thought that it was my place to say, hey, snap out of it and slap them around a little bit and give them a little tough love.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think as you can see, how can we be there for someone in time of anxiety, depression, grief? That's kind of the gist of what we're kind of trying to get to. Like, how do you be there for someone? How do you effectively listen, be present, whatever those things are that we can do for someone or be there for someone? I mean, we've all had experiences personally, but we've also been on the other side of it as well, right? I mean, like you, Keith, like if anybody would have told me it's been 10 years since my son passed, January was 10 years. If anybody would have told me 11 years ago that your response would be my response to it now, I would have told you were crazy. Like this would not be my response to losing my son, right? That I would have curled up in a ball, never came out of my house, became a hermit, kind of deal. And you just don't know until you go through it yourself, or you go through something. It doesn't have to be exactly what I've gone through, but you go through something in life. And then you're like, I get it. Kind of. I mean, not exactly, but so I think the discussion is how we want to kind of discuss tonight is, how are we there for those that are going through depression and anxiety? Again, we're not experts. We're like sitting in a living room just having a conversation, and things that have been helpful to us, things that maybe we have read in a book, and kind of to share those experiences this evening.
You want to?
So yeah, I have several books that I've been looking through, and one book that I would just like to share if anybody's interested is Could It Be This Simple? A Biblical Model for Healing the Mind. This is by author Timothy Jenkins. And I think it's a powerful book because I think all of us have had times where we need to fortify. We're told to take care of our body, but our mind is a muscle too. And, how can we help others if we're drowning ourselves? So this book just takes a look at healing the mind and what that looks like. There's so much, like, this is probably very deep for this podcast tonight because we're looking at like how we can help the community. But I know that a lot of times when people hear about, someone taking their life, just assume that this is like the unpardonable sin. And I feel like it's so much deeper than even, I don't know, than our views that we've had. And I think God has so much compassion for those families and those individuals. Like it's a disease, right? And how can we fortify the mind and how can we strengthen the mind?
You weren't here, but we did talk about that. How my whole life I had a viewpoint on what happens to a person, just faith wise. But after looking at all the evidence of what happened surrounding my dad's passing, I said, "Oh no, that was wrong. Like, why do we teach that? It's like these people are dealing with something that hopefully we never have to experience. But after having experienced it, a lot of the similar issues that my dad was facing towards the end, I'm like, oh man, and if it was this hard for me, I can't imagine having doubled the life experience in years and now going through that. I'm like, man, that would have, I don't know how. So that grace there's a grace that needs to be given for people who are in that type of a mindset.
And something really changed my mind about it was somebody showed me a picture of two brains, one that was full of depression, and then the other, somebody who wasn't experiencing it had two different slides, and the one that was depressed was actually literally dark. And it's like no lights were on basically in that brain, and the other brain was like lit up with different colors and a lot of activity. So it's a literal physical something. Like I'm not a brain
A change.
surgeon.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So there's just so much to understand with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, and we live in a world that we think we're closer than ever because of social media and all these things, right? But so for me, I use social media because sometimes I post things because I have something to say and I say it, whatever it may be. But mostly I use it because I have a lot of family and friends that live far. But as far as my friends here in like Texas, like in this area, I want to see y'all in person, or the family that I'm close to, like my, immediate family and other family members that I'm close to. We all got each other's numbers, right? Like we don't need to use social media necessarily. We could call, we could text, right? But I don't know don't know the statistics, but I know that there's a statistic out there that says that we live in although we have this quote unquote
Most
connected society, we feel the loneliest now. Why do you think that? Or why do people feel more depressed and more anxious because of social media, let's say?
Well, I would just say on statistics that I've looked up, a lot of youth, especially, and mostly teenage girls, but a lot of youth right now are suffering in mental health wise because you got your phone. I just got the brand new 17 Pro Max, which I was excited for, right? But at the same time, it's like I'm scrolling on here and then I'm seeing this person bought this. I'm seeing these people are hanging out with their kids, and I haven't seen mine in 2 years, right? And so you're like, I'm watching, and all this is just constantly, and it's like in your face 24/7, and you even see people who go on these quote unquote fasts from social media, and they do a lot better, whether it's like a day, and it's like, oh, I didn't check my phone today. Like, that's not that serious, but like, well, I also grew up in a different time, but it's like, man, like this is what's going on. Like the phone is just it's there, it's hitting the dopamine center in your head constantly, the notifications and what happened, who said what, when did this, and like you said, you'll talk about things and then somebody comments and then you gotta go back and it's back and forth, and all of a sudden it's been an hour,
Right.
and you're like, oh man, what did I do today?
And then then I have the thing on my phone that says screen time.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, if you want guilt or you want to really know,
swipe on over.
you just swipe
and you'll
swipe
see.
on that. Yeah. So
But yeah, I just really feel like it's the fact that we have so much in front of us all the time. Internet used to be on that one computer in the house,
right.
or at the library, and then you would go on there with AOL or do whatever you're doing, and you got to be on for a little bit, and you got to go play outside if you even had a computer, or when you went to the library. But now it's just everything is right there. The news, and this place got blown up, and these people are suffering through this, and this is happening to these, and you're just like, it's constantly like oh man, like
I need a break.
It seems more negative and a lot of darkness than
Yeah.
uplifting positivity. Like you can find that, but it's just laced with darkness and destruction, and that can be very overwhelming to a person.
Yeah.
And then I think the spirit of comparison.
There's our music. Well, we're going to take a break and join us for the second half. See you soon.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Welcome back to Common Thread, second half. NTX Radio proudly serves all of North Texas and can be heard all over the world on the TuneIn Radio Network and on the NTX Radio app available on Android and Apple CarPlay, or just ask Alexa to play NTX Radio. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued sponsors in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas communities and businesses. So, protect your family with the will of trust. Connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law, for all your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com. Processing credit cards? Join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com. Locally owned and operated and will beat any rates. Got sleeves? Dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com for women's accessories and more. Made in the USA. And it's time to take your business to the next level. Hosting a radio show and podcast is a powerful way to connect with a wider audience, build brand awareness, and drive sales. Let's discuss your business goals and how a custom show can help you achieve them. Email Tiffany at t.hurd@ntxradio.com to get amplified. Well, welcome back. And we've been talking about depression, anxiety. We've been talking about how in a more connected, quote unquote, society through social media, why there's so much more anxiety and depression because of it. And, because we constantly have these gadgets, although they can be great tool, we're constantly looking for that dopamine hit when we're on social media. And sometimes, there's what's that scrolling called? They have this doom scrolling. So when someone is just constantly watching whatever that thing is, either they're on Facebook's, YouTube, or whatever that may be. And Keith, have you ever looked into why people do that? Oh.
But I will say that it's just probably what's that called? Nervous tick, the thing that people just kind of do. Like you're just kind of, I had a video go viral.
Like a tick.
Yeah, tick. Wow. So I had a video go viral Thursday. Okay. Woke up, 250,000 views.
Wow.
I looked at my watch time though. So it's 25-second video. How long of the video do you think people watched? Just 260 something thousand times. Just how 24 seconds. How much do you think people watched?
Half?
No.
Less?
1.3 seconds.
What?
Before they went to the next one.
Wow.
And on average, I do average about like 3 to about 7 seconds of however long of a video I might do. And people are just, oh, wow. And
oh, wow. Like statistics like that, like real live statistics like that are so interesting to me. Wow. So yeah, the
attention span is growing smaller and smaller. Like my daughter, my youngest, she's 12 and she loves the shorts. And that is what the majority of people have gotten used to. And, it has turned our brains into mush.
Yes, it
because
does.
we have very short attention spans. But if all of that is also negative and the doom scrolling, that's not very beneficial either. So there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I just wanted to read from the Ministry of Healing, and I might bring it up a few times just because this is one of my favorite books. It says, "He knows all the circumstances that chafe and perplex the spirit. His hand," and this is talking about Jesus, "his hand is outstretched in pitying tenderness to every suffering child. And those who suffer most have the most of his sympathy and pity. He touches those with the feeling of our infirmities, and he desires us to lay our perplexities and troubles at his feet and leave them there."
Mm.
And I just love that because he is the most sympathetic with our problems, and he sees every single one of our tears,
Mm.
and I feel like he's saving them to talk to us about each and every one of them. And he's asking us to lay all of our pain and our struggles at his feet and to leave it there.
Mm.
He's basically giving you permission to not worry. But we always like to pick up that cross and carry it, even though he's asking us to leave it down.
Mm. Well, the Bible, I don't know where it's at exactly. I know it's in the Old Testament, but it talks about God bottling our tears. And that's just, and then in Revelation, it says that he's going to wipe all our tears away. And so, just very consoling and comforting knowing that this is amazing God that's infinite, and he cares about me. He cares about you. He cares about you individually, right? But as a community too. But nothing that we go through is not seen by him, right? Like he sees everything. And so, how can we be that? How can we be the hands and feet of Jesus, bottling someone's tears? I know the one thing that has helped me is just letting me feel what I need to feel. Don't fix me. Don't tell me not to feel that way. There's healthy ways to deal with emotions. Even, we always talk about emotions as some emotions will put a negative connotation to it, like anger, for instance. And even anger, the Bible says, in your anger, do not sin. It doesn't say anger is a sin. It says, in it, don't sin. Because anger is one of those really passionate emotions. But even people have done even great things in the name of anger. They were angry about injustice. So because they went and made change. And so you channel anger in a positive way, it can be a good thing. I remember this must have been about 3 or 4 years ago. There's this place, I can't remember the name, but it's in Fort Worth or Arlington or on the border somewhere. And you can go there and break stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Throw
you
plates.
you pay and you choose your weapon of choice and you go there and you break stuff. And it's 20 minutes and you break room, you said? Rage room. There you go. And you put on this gear to protect you, right? Face from head to toe. And you have 20 minutes and you get to choose whatever, weapons they have there, the things that you can break stuff with. And I went there and it was like smithereens, like to the point of it was like dust. Like the guy came in and he was like, even if we wanted to put it together, we couldn't. He was like dust. So like I cried a lot when they have cameras on you, right, watching you. But I knew that, but I didn't care. I was like, I paid money to come here to feel relief, and I'm gonna get it. And so
Did you purchase that on your own, or did you a friend?
I did. At that time, I don't know what the cost is now. At that time, it was $40 for 20 minutes, but it was the best $40 spent for me. It felt so good to get that out. And
Yeah, I was in Iceland and I was on the top of a mountain and a friend walked me through just a little process of letting go and screaming, and it was very nice that to just kind of let it out and let it ricochet off the other mountain.
It echoed. But so yeah, how can we as God's people, as just another human, I mean, human to human. When I walk alongside people, a lot of the patients and people that I deal with that I'm servicing or that are on our service are not Christians. And how do I walk alongside someone who doesn't believe what I believe? Like, this is the common thread. This is the name of this podcast. So that means that whatever your walk of life is, whatever belief or non-belief you have, how can we as a human being um, be present or be there for others? Or what has worked for us and what hasn't?
I think, man, just noticing again, going back to what I said earlier, just looking. If you yourself have gone through something, you kind of should know a little bit of the signs, even though it will be different for everybody. But you should know a little bit of the signs of what to look for. Like today, when we're sitting eating, and it was just really apparent that this individual is holding something very strong. And when she explained what happened to her and her mother over in Waxahachie a week or two ago, it was like, wow, that is heavy, like very heavy. And then she explained school and everything else. And it's like, wow. And then it was, hey, can we pray with you? And the only way we were able to do that was just noticing something and then just asking. If you see something, say something, right? So literally, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. But it might be, hey, in that group setting, your friend's not going to answer you. But once everybody goes away, it's like, hey, thank you so much. So here's what's going on. It's like, man, I had no idea. I could just sense that, you didn't want to hang out with all of us. You were over there. You're just on your phone the whole time. Something seemed different, So that's what I think. Just if you see it, just ask.
So that's one. If you see it, ask. And if you're wrong, it's okay. I'd rather be wrong about somebody having a bad day or a bad week or a bad year than they do something, they take their life, or they do something and I didn't notice. So what about you, Eva? What's something that you feel could help somebody that's going through anxiety, depression, that's having a hard time?
Well, for me, it is, quality time with someone who is experiencing that. Just being a sounding board, and I think everyone needs someone who's a good listener around. And also, I would say also just to hold back. Go ahead.
What makes someone a good listener for you? What do you think the requirements are for that?
See, I'm probably the worst listener. I'm getting better at it. I think it might have to do with a slight touch of ADD, but I am trying to learn how to, and the part isn't just listening, but it's not being judgmental. So I have a t-shirt that says less judgment, more empathy. I think that's the way it reads. But I'm trying to learn to look at people the way Jesus would look at them, and definitely just have a tender heart and love. But listening is just like sitting back and not shaking your head or trying to fill in or trying to solve.
Trying to fix.
And then I've learned that you should ask, hey, are you wanting my opinion? Are you wanting me just to listen? Instead of just like obviously jumping in and trying to solve the problem. But just say, are you just wanting somebody to hear you out today? Or do you want my 2 cents?
Well, because it requires, I think, different sets of listening skills when you're doing that, right? Because one of them, if they want to respond, so they want you to give them some advice, then you're going to be thinking of more like resolutions or something, guidance. But if they just want you to just listen, then you kind of just, okay, unload, you know? So, yeah. So the listening skills are different for both. Okay.
So yeah, another thing for me would be not only just trying to be a good listener, but also, well, catching the cues, because I think people drop cues, um, and I feel like people don't take it serious.
Mm.
I myself have experienced this. Um, just, you might tell somebody, I'm just really, really down today or whatever. And it seems like those around you may not take the weight off.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we do sit down to listen to someone, how are we taking them serious about, hey, I've had a bad day, or hey, this is how I'm feeling. Um, People sadly sometimes come with a bunch of questions like, why did this person take their life? Like, it's such a shocker, but I do believe sometimes I'm sure it is like, I never saw this coming. Um, but I think sometimes there's a cry for help, and there might be several ways a person cries for help.
Yeah.
Again, looking for it. Just being a good listener, like you're saying. How's a person be a good listener? Be looking for it, because you never know. It could be your friends like that, family. I explained when you were here, but I explained in my song "I'm Sorry." I called my dad on the 10th of October because of some online bullying that I was dealing with, which even I was 31 at the time, but that affected me really bad. And it got so bad that it affected my business. And then I hadn't had business. Just a lot was going on. So I called him, but immediately it was like I just shut my mouth, because all of a sudden I can tell something was wrong with my dad. Didn't know what, but I just heard it in his voice and the way he was like, hello. And I was like I never heard my dad sound like that. So it's like, hey, what's going on here? Then he explains the things that were going on leading up till then. And I was like, dude, that's why I call the song "I'm Sorry," because it was like, I'm sorry. Like, what can I do? Like, I want to do something. And I knew I couldn't give him solutions, but besides like just trusting the Lord, as you always have. But outside of that, I couldn't give him man to man solution to do something, but just being a listening ear and just hearing what he had to say. And I think that conversation was like an hour and 40. He was at work, which as an officer, I'm just glad he got no calls. But he got that entire time to just tell me everything. And I was like, man, I had no idea. And then when, once I was able to get into the house after, he passed, then I saw in his notes and the stuff he was highlighting in the Bible and all that. I'm like, oh, this isn't just a now thing. This has been going on, but no one knew. I never thought to ask. This is dad, you know. So
Wow.
So I follow someone who she's a doctor, Jennifer Jill, and she has a Bide network, and she talks about how you can separate by just the words that you choose from anxiety. So, for example, instead of saying I'm anxious, say I'm feeling anxious, um, and that will just give a little distance. And that's how she talks about, instead of like, this is
Saying
how.
I'm depressed, say I'm feeling depressed. Got it.
Or I'm experiencing anxiety right now.
Because then what happens, I think, the other way when you say I'm depressed, it's like you identify. It's like
yeah.
you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, instead of like separating yourself from what you're feeling.
That's a good one. Separate that. Wow. That's almost like how a lot of the a lot of the new, I don't want to say new age, but the new churches nowadays are talking about speaking word curses over yourself, where you're saying like, I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you're feeling depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm
You
this. It's
aren't
like,
that
no,
thing.
you're not that thing. You're feeling like that. That's a,
Mm-hmm.
as we believe, like a spirit or something is trying to cause you to feel that way. Wow. That's pretty cool.
I like that. Okay. That's good for me to know too, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I'm feeling that way opposed to saying
This is also just, it's a free network, Abide Network, faith-based mental health resources. So, and trained coaches. And she's a doctor, so she trains these coaches.
okay, that's amazing. Yeah, send me that. You said it's called Abide Network.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And her name is Jennifer Jills.
Is that like on Facebook or something?
It's on
or
Instagram.
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jennifer Jills.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. That's really interesting. I'd like to know more about that. It helped me and also what I do every day. Not identifying with what you're feeling, but identifying the feeling. I think it's helpful to know what you're feeling so that you can.
This is not me.
Well,
This is
no, this is her. I mean, I know
Mhm.
she's a doctor. So
No, I'm saying you don't say like I am depressed
oh,
or
right. Yeah.
like, because some people would say this is who I am.
All right. Yeah. No. Don't put that on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Yeah, don't. You are more than your circumstances or what you're feeling at that moment. You know, we all have those moments of depression. I think one thing, like I think you said that I liked was like giving people a non-judgmental space.
Yeah.
And I try to make that like a real point. Like, hey, nobody's like when it might be a patient, it could be a friend. No matter what you say is not going to offend me. Even when someone curses in front of me, like, I mean, we're friends, but like if I'm with a patient and they curse, I cursed in front of the chaplain. I'm like, no. Actually, I'm happy you did it because what that says is that you're comfortable in front of me. And that tells me that the space is sacred and you feel comfortable in it. So let it out. I'm not going to judge you for it. It's not my job to fix you. It's not my job to tell you what to do. I'm just just unload on me. Right. So I think that's what presence is, like just being. A lot of times we're so busy in the society and doing, which is good. I mean,
We're fixers.
we want to do, right? Like that's part of life. But when you're in someone's presence and they're unloading, how do they know that you're just being? How do they know that you're just there for them, that you're just listening, undivided attention, and that your mind is not somewhere else, So I think it's helpful so presence, listening, non-judgmental space, noticing people, and asking, noticing and asking. And so not being afraid of what they might say because we don't know.
Yeah.
So is there something else that you want to share from that book?
The Ministry of Healing also says we are to look away from self to Jesus, because I feel like, and I'm not an expert, right? I'm just saying what I've noticed, and even with myself, is we get in our head and we start to doubt and we start to get entangled with the perplexities of life, and we go in circles, and it's like a web of thoughts, and usually they're negative. And if there's a way to get our mind off of ourself and how sick we are and how many problems we have. And one thing that I've had to learn is like, and this isn't in a bad way, but like, I'm not special. I'm special to Jesus.
Right.
I'm special to my family, but I'm not special in that I'm the only one who has problems. We all have problems. So if I'm not just the only one who's got issues, we all have issues, then that makes me, okay. I'm just like probably 99% of the society who's dealing with some kind of perplexity. So I need to decide to give myself some distance to that and say, look away and look to Jesus. And it says, look to the place where you last saw the light.
Mm.
And I just love that part. I put a star there because I was like,
Yeah, write that down. Look to the place you last saw the light. Wow.
and that's a song right there, Keith.
I know. I'm literally like,
Look to the
That is a
place where
song.
you last saw the light. Rest in Christ's love and under his
Wow.
protecting care.
I love that.
So enter into communion with the Savior. And we will enter into a region of peace. So, because otherwise, if we're just like caught up in our own thoughts about ourselves, it can be very destructive. Because we're a lot of times not thinking the most positive things. So, where did you last see the light?
Where did you last see the light? Yeah, and
Maybe what brings you joy.
yeah.
And shoot, if it's dark chocolate,
hey, if it's dark chocolate, then go for it. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, again, we there's a lot of darkness in the world, and we're hoping that our podcast, Common Thread, is a positive outlet, a light, so to speak, that could help someone, that could create conversation for those that are watching, and you know that you're not alone, and that we have all gone through it here, you know, in this room, and you know, we'll be praying for you, and we hope that you can join us again next week. We stay tuned. We'll let you know what the next topic will be.
Do you have some last words, Keith, for our listeners?
Last words. Or not last words, but words for now.
Last word sounds
Yeah,
sounds
I'll
like
be
so
back.
morbid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but just honestly, like what happened today, I wasn't expecting that situation to happen at all. And me and my friend, when we were driving away, we just kept talking about it like little teenagers, like, bro, they can't believe that happened. So just be willing to
Take the moment.
no matter where you're at. Yeah, don't be afraid.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Well, like we always end this podcast, don't give up. Hold on to Jesus.
Keep looking up. And Isaiah 46:3 says, I will carry you. I will deliver you.
Amen. Amen.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
You're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs. Listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you